We were shocked that Bell was legally entitled to do this. Any modifications we needed to make on our home had to go through a lengthy process by a committee of adjustments. The year before this, Bell notified residents in the neighborhood asking permission to change the font on the front of their building. We were notified about something so meaningless, yet Bell could completely take advantage of a protocol that gives them the power to install a cellular tower within meters of people's home without any type of notification. These 15-meter tall antenna are beaming right into our home. Out of concern, we had the RF radiation measured on our property and had readings up to 18,000 microwatts per meter squared that we are being exposed 24/7. That's a picture of my son looking outside his bedroom window, and we have the readings done in that room, and the levels are close to 18,000 microwatts per meter squared. We have reached out to our mayor, MPPs, Industry Canada, Health Canada, asking how these antennae were allowed to be installed within meters of our home. Our main concern, of course, was health issues. We were reassured by federal industries and Bell that we were safe because of the cellular antennas' RF emissions were way below Safety Code 6 standards. Through correspondence with Bell, we received emails, and one of the emails from George Cope's office stated, "I would like to confirm that health and safety is of paramount importance to Bell. We abide by all applicable health and safety requirements established by Health Canada and set out in Bell's license conditions. Industry Canada requires that all radio communication operators ensure that their radio communication and broadcasting installations comply with Safety Code 6 at all times. Bell attests that our site on Balsam Drive complies with Safety Code 6. Responses from Industry Canada and Health Canada were similar. Out of concern, I began to investigate and research further about this Safety Code 6 and how it claims to be protecting my family. This is what I found, section 2.3, page 19, that temperature increases in living tissue due to RF energy absorption follow a well-defined pattern with a time constant of approximately 6 minutes. My interpretation of that was that if radio wave radiation will not heat my body tissue in 6 minutes, then it's considered safe. I've found that it's based on the negative effects of the short-term heating of body tissue or the thermal effect of radiation. This code doesn't take into consideration the long-term or biological effects on the body, which is what I'm concerned about, as you can see, with my son having to look outside his window and see that tower. I'm constantly worried as to what effects in the long run it'll have on him. I've been told by Health Canada and Industry Canada and Bell that I'm perfectly safe to live in my home, being exposed to these radio frequencies, and that I don't have to worry about any adverse effects to my family because the RF exposure limits are well below Safety Code 6 guidelines. Yet I found there are many recent studies that contradict this guideline. When reviewing the BioInitiative Report 2007, I read that it has been established beyond any reasonable doubt that bioeffects and some adverse health effects occur at far lower levels of RF exposure when no heating occurs at all. Some effects are shown to occur at 100,000 times below the existing public safety limits where heating is a possibility. As I further look at the BioInitiative Report of 2007, I see a chart and I read the biological effects from radio frequency radiation at a low intensity exposure shows effects in children and adolescents between 8 and 17, causing headaches, irritation, concentration difficulties. I also found in the report that low-level exposures reported chronic exposure to base station RF in humans showed increased stress hormones, dopamine levels, substantially decreased high levels of adrenaline and noradrenaline, and it goes on. So after reading the results of this report, I do not feel confident that Safety Code 6 standard is protecting my family. We are living in conditions 20 times the level of RF radiation that is deemed to be safe, as concluded by the Bioinitiative study. I ask this panel to review Safety Code 6, take into consideration the long-term biological effects on the body, and lower RF output to the Bioinitiative report standard, which calls for a limit of 1,000 microwatts per meter squared. I've been told by Health Canada on one hand we are safe because our exposure is thousands of times below Safety Code 6, yet when I inquire about the effects, the long-term effects, I've been told that more research needs to be done. So I'm quoting from a response from Health Canada, which says the department does not consider additional precautionary measures for other wireless devices, such as cell phone towers and Wi-Fi equipment, to be warranted at this time. Since the intensity and distribution of RF energy absorbed within the body from these devices are very different from that of cell phones, and health risks from exposure below the limits specified in Safety Code 6 have not been established. However, it is in agreement with both the World Health Organization and IRAC that additional research in this area is warranted. So my question is, am I safe or am I not? Do I have faith in Safety Code 6 and have my children constantly exposed to these RF frequencies? Or do I ignore reliable studies such as the Bioinitiative report? Is this radiation really safe? If it is safe, then why are there endless studies showing evidence that it's not? I'm asking that the revision of the Safety Code be proactive and at the very least be reviewed periodically to keep up with technology. I ask that this new revised code embrace the adverse biological effects of electromagnetic radiation and set a precautionary principle maximum of 1,000 microwatts per meter squared. In closing, I'm not here as a scientist, as you probably already noticed, or a doctor or an engineer or an expert in RF. So excuse me if my readings were incorrect. But the reason I came all the way to Ottawa is because I'm a mother who's concerned for my family and others like us in similar situations all across the country. I look at that picture and I think, how could 8 cellular antenna pointing straight into my son's bedroom, 13 meters away, as he sleeps, it just saddens me that I'm forced to live in this situation. I'm told by our government that I should feel confident that the exposure limits are safe and well below Safety Code 6 standards. I ask those of you who are parents, if you were my situation, would you feel confident in Safety Code 6, protecting your family and having your child sleep 13 meters from 8 cellular antenna? Until more research is done, I'm asking that your panel take a precautionary approach and lower the maximum radiation levels. And remember, there are many people like myself out there that are being forced to live way too close to cellular towers, not knowing if one day they will make us sick. Thank you.